Louisiana beer reviews, Budweiser. So we're looking at Budweiser lager beer, introduced in 1876. Part of the Anheuser-Busch InBev line. InBev since 2008. Now this is a modern can. It says 26 March 2021. I guess that's Houston. So this company pioneered the born on dates. This is a bottle from December 13th, 1996. When I first started drinking beer, 1996. It kind of went back to the older style label. They had kind of fancied it up over the years. Now we got the 25 ounce cans. Okay, so water, barley malt, rice, hops, yeast. If you look at the old labels from the 1870s and 80s, those are written in German. I think they started putting English labels in 1908. So Missouri, heavily German immigrant area. Heavily populated by German immigrants, I'm trying to say. So this nice Budweiser glass I bought years ago at a yard sale, I think. Thick, very thick, white head. Being a rice lager, it's going to have a different flavor than most of the other American adjunct lagers. Clear, bubbly gold. Now, one thing I notice about Budweiser, sometimes it'll have slight green tint. I can't explain. All right. The cans, I don't think they have born on dates anymore. A couple of years ago, they went to the Best Buy, phased in the Best Buy. It might be the 129th day of 2020. That might be what it's saying, but I don't see why it would have that long of a window unless they extended it. 145 calories, right? Yeah, per 12 ounces, 5% alcohol. Number one selling beer brand in the world. I know there was a article years ago about Snow Beer of China had passed up Budweiser for worldwide. Now Budweiser is only number 4 in the United States these days. In 1988 was the peak year for Budweiser, 50 million barrels. Okay, now it's down to like 12 or 13 million. But around the world, it's still number 1. But the thing about the Snow Beer article was that they were taking every brand of Snow Beer. There's many different brands. And they were counting them as one brand. And they were saying, well, it outsells Budweiser, that single brand. Well, that'd be like taking Budweiser, Bud Light Platinum, Bud Ice, Budweiser Select, adding them all up and then calling that a brand. That makes sense. Okay. Kind of a musty nose, actually. Funky, musty nose. Get some rice water. I notice when you have boiling rice, it has a distinct aroma. There's a lot of rice consumption in southeastern Louisiana, south central Louisiana, and southwestern Louisiana too, of course. Okay, let's go with the taste. So it's a pleasant aroma. Got that 25 ounce can at Walmart, $1.98. I have it very cold. Budweiser is designed to drink ice cold. It's crisp, it's clean, it's refreshing. It has that rice flavor though. The rice is supposed to be neutral in its flavor, but you do pick it up. I can notice it clearly. I suppose I prefer the rice adjunct over corn adjunct. They only use verdant rice, meaning green rice. Verdant rice. I think it's a blend of 2-row and 6-row barley malt. Medium-bodied, dry mouth, dry finish. It's a very dry beer, extremely dry beer. Bud Light is even more dry. Is it thirst quenching? Well, I'm not too sure about that. I drink water for thirst quenching purposes anyway. But it's definitely a pairable product. I think it pairs well with any kind of food. I would drink it with, say, like a Thanksgiving meal, Christmas Day meal, a New Year's Day meal. Although the past Thanksgiving meal for 2020 was with Milwaukee's Best Premium. It paired very well, though, by the way. All flavors or off aromas. No, I don't think there's any. Although it did describe some things in the aroma that were a little strange, but probably always smelled that way. Draft would be your best option if you can get it on draft, of course. If you do find, I mean, you can find Budweiser on draft. It's just not so common. Bud Light on draft, you'll find that anywhere draft beer is sold, pretty much. Bud Light, which has overtaken it as the #1 beer in America. The money's still going to Budweiser. They talked about articles. It's declined so much in 32 years. But has it really declined, or has it just been replaced by its lighter sibling? Because if you looked at the barrel production of Bud Light in 1988 compared to Budweiser, and then you look at it 32 years later, it's sort of like it just did that, you know. Then if you bring in the variants, the Platinum, the Ice, the Select 55, I think you'll find that the sales are pretty strong, still very healthy today. But anyway, I have no horse in the race aside from just trying and buying things randomly at the store. Back in 2008, they tried Budweiser American Ale. Then it didn't last but about 4 years. The sales were never good. This product had kind of an unusual flavor. It would start off really nice, then you would start to pick up some things that weren't so good, I found. But I'm glad I saved this bottle. That was an interesting product. Samuel Adams Ale, Boston Ale. I used to love that. I never see that anymore. Apparently they still make it. They brought in these Budweiser specialties over the years. This 1933 Repeal Reserve. And then later on, many other variants like this Jim Beam Black Lager and many others I don't have time to show. But very interesting products. Do I buy Budweiser all the time? No, I don't, because I can get other products a good deal cheaper per 12 pack that I enjoy just as much, or nearly as much, or yeah, just as much, honestly. Like I was talking about the Milwaukee's Best Premium, which we can't usually get around here, but my friend David found some. Would I enjoy that just as much as this? That's 4.8 now these days. Yeah, sure. I don't see much difference, except that this is rice-based for adjunct, and that one is corn syrup-based. But in the final analysis, they're both mostly positive products. I can interchange them as far as enjoyment level, international enjoyment units. Do I think Budweiser is a good product and deserves a high score? Yes, I do. Some people take issue with it and say it's kind of bland. They give it a C. I find that's too low, but I don't. It doesn't bother me because those people maybe just as their everyday beers, they might be drinking things like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, 1050, Old Chub, Boston Lager. So like that's their normal. So the old style American adjunct lagers would not appeal to them. I just took issue over the years with people saying things like, "Oh, Budweiser's the worst. It's a 0 out of 100. It's terrible. Tastes so bad." Well, I never could understand that. I said it doesn't taste bad. Maybe you could argue it's dull or something like that. It tastes good to me, actually. Actually, I like it a lot. But like I say, I can get my Keystone Ice and whatnot and enjoy those just as much. So competition is good, and I feed into that competition as a consumer. Still, what would I score this? I think I'd feel comfortable going with one more sip. Gotta think about this. Yeah, it's so clean. I gotta go with 93 out of 100. Might sound outlandish, but I'm rating it in the style American Adjunct Lager, and it compares well with beers around the world because they're different styles of beers. People like different things, just like music, like different types of music. Every type of music doesn't appeal to everybody, including me. So 93 out of 100. If you're looking to drink an American Adjunct Lager, this would be one of the real winners. So I've enjoyed it for 24 years, more than 24 years, off and on. So Les Le Bon Temps Relais, an A product in my book. And I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to southeastern Louisiana.